My name is Racer with Racer Sounds Trucking, and today we're going to talk about cryogenics. Alright, I know it's not that interesting, but we'll just get straight to the point. Cryogenics is a branch of physics that deals with the effects of very low temperatures. In other words, a bunch of nerds got together and said,
"Hey, what do you think would happen if we freeze this?"
What the nerds discovered was you can change things from different states with extreme cold, such as how you can make water into ice. They found out you can make a gaseous state object into a liquid state. You might be thinking this is some sort of science fiction futuristic theory, but you're wrong. This has actually been going on for quite a while, and it's really as simple as making something cold, super cold. It's actually called subcooling. What does this have to do with truck driving? Just like everything else in this world, it has to be transported by a truck driver in order to get to where it needs to go, from the air separation unit to its customer sites. A qualified driver will usually have a CDL, hazmat and tanker endorsement, as well as a TWIC and even a railroad commission certification. Let's start talking equipment, such as the trailers. They're not any ordinary trailers, because this product can get so cold, up to negative 200 degrees, that anything that's above negative 200 is considered hot. And when it's hot, it creates steam, like a hot cup of water. The trailers are insulated, but it's inevitable that the heat will still make its way in. Heat means steam inside the trailer, and too much steam can cause excessive pressure, therefore requiring an exit plan, or a vent. Let's get hands-on, but just a warning, it will look intimidating. This can be the back of a nitrogen, oxygen, or argon trailer since they all operate similarly. We'll take one thing at a time, and we'll first look at the venting system. Here's a tank. Here's the venting system where it comes from the tank. It'll come down and around. This is your manual vent if you needed to manually vent it out. Go up through that tube and out the vertical stack. Next, we're going to look at the road relief, which comes from the same place, up and out, comes through that thin tube to the road relief. Road relief is more of the application whenever you're driving and you need a trickle. You'd open that while driving. It comes out through this thin tube, up and around, into the same tube, and out this vertical vent. If you need steam to come out, but your manual vent's closed and your road relief valve is closed, and then there's a safety bypass that it could go through. If it exceeds a certain pressure, it'll activate and allow the steam to come out. To monitor your pressure, you look at this cluster, and on this case on the left side where it says vessel pressure will show you your PSI of your tank. Let's talk about tools and safety. These are thermal gloves that'll handle the coat. A hammer for whacking that's made out of brass so it doesn't create sparks, and a hard hat with an integrated visor and earmuffs. These should always be used whenever operating the trailer, which is important to know because I'm about to show you how to load this trailer. Let's update your vocabulary before we move on. There's top and bottom fill, which are references to where you're going to fill the tank, and a bleed line where you relieve pressure. This is your sample line. You would open the sample line on the side. Then you'd connect an adapter or the direct hose fitting onto here and twist it on, tighten it, and it would send a sample of your current tank to the facility to test. This is where you would fill. This is your fill cap. You remove that, put your hose, and it would go through this big tube. This is your open and close valve for your bottom fill. That would go up this, around this corner, and into the tank to bottom fill. Now let's find the top fill from the fill cap. If you don't open that way, it'll go this way, around, and here is your top fill, the valve to open and close it. If it's open, it'll go up and around into the trailer to top fill. Following the fill cap to the bleed valve usually is associated by a hand lever. This thin hose redirects any vapor that's left in the line down and out. To recap, we got this bottom fill, we got this bleed valve, and we have this top fill. Most facilities are the same in the sense that they'll make you connect a sample line. You'll bleed your line, connect the hose, open the bottom fill. If you don't remember, you follow the plumbing, open your top fill, and from there you'll want to talk to an operator because depending on the facility it could be computer loaded or operator loaded. Follow the specific rules of the facility as well as ask any questions to the operator that you might not be familiar with, especially if you have something called a hot tank, because those require a different procedure to load. But under regular loading circumstances, most trailers will have a working pressure. In this case, it's 38 psi. As you can see over here on the safety valves, it's also 38. That's essentially the maximum pressure that this tank can work on, and you can monitor that through here. Your job while loading is making sure that it stays below that or a specific one, and if it does, it'll come out of that vent. You can lower the pressure from here by your manual vent. You'll typically know that you're loaded because of the scale that you're currently parked on. You can manually stop it yourself, or if it's computer based, the operator inside will stop it for you. Do not disconnect anything until the operator says so. Close all your valves and purge all your lines before you start disconnecting hoses. I hope you learned something from watching this video, and if there's anything you can teach to anybody else, make sure to leave a comment.